Good morning, fam. What's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I sincerely appreciate you guys being here today, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. What an amazing start. Was able to lead the workout today. So anytime that you're in a leadership position, you get even more energy, right? Because people are expecting you to come with it and they vibe off your energy. And I know you guys vibe off my energy and I appreciate you guys being here. So thank you so much for being on Bama Football on YouTube. If you could just take a second and hit the thumbs up, that's basically a roll tide. So if you roll tide, hit the thumbs up. And I appreciate you guys being here one more time. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. You guys see I added some graphics down at the bottom. So you got Coach Kalen DeBoer, you got Jalen Milroe, Ryan Williams, Caden Proctor, that's Keon Sabb, and you got Jahad Campbell. So added those guys at the bottom. You know, those are kind of the guys that I'm vibing with right now, and I appreciate you. What's going on? Let's do some shout outs before we get going while everybody gets checked in. All right, so let me kind of go through the top. And if I don't see you inside the comment box, don't hold it against me. There's a lot of people coming through, and I appreciate you guys. And I'm always working to improve the graphics or the audio, so you know that you guys deserve the standard, right? It's easy just to turn on the camera and just to talk about Alabama football, but you got to have the personality, you got to have the delivery, and you got to have the passion for what you do, right? I do this on a full-time basis, and what gives me strength to be able to do this, I got a little girl who's still asleep right now, and I got a son who just went off to football practice. This is how I pay the bills. So super chats, or if you guys could become a fan funder, just $2.99. I appreciate you guys being here and rocking with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Seth, what's going on? I see you inside the comment box first in line. Kevin, what's going on? DC 777. What's up? M85. Jay, hello. Kevin, Vanna, I appreciate you for being here. Jarvis, my boy, my numbers guy, always come with it. Kevin, Rick, Vincent, Kyle, recognize Kyle, Christopher Woodson, Bama Boy 334 coming with it. Ricky Smith, what's going on? Eric, what's going on? And Max Tooney, my boy Max Tooney, who is a member of the Undefeated, that's a fan funder. He's locked in. And everybody else inside the comment box. So got the coffee. It's nice and hot. I got the American top on. I love this hat. I keep it clean. This was going to be like a golf hat of mine, but I didn't want to get it dirty. So hit the thumbs up while I take a sip of coffee, and then away we go. All right. Here we go. We're Wednesday. Can you guys wait till Friday? I can't wait till Friday. You have two big commitments that are coming on Friday. I don't know if Josiah Sherma is going to pick Alabama. I haven't seen anybody forecast him. Feel really good about Dijon Lee. So, but before Dijon Lee commits, and this is what I'm asking right now to lead off the show, and he's announcing on Friday, right? And we'll have coverage on it as it happens. But I'm asking you on the graphic, type A, B, or C for the prospect that you think is going to commit next to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Okay, and if you somehow were sleeping all yesterday and you missed it, or you're a shift worker and you missed the news yesterday, Ackland Deer, who is a 4-star. Now, a lot of people were like, you're calling him a 5-star. I think eventually he's going to be a 5-star, so I might have misspoke in terms of saying he's a 5-star. I'm human, just like you guys. I sleep on a pillow, just like you guys. So if it's a 4-star, 5-star, it is still monumental news because the guy's an absolute baller. So what I'm asking you inside the comment box, who will be next to commit to Alabama? Type A for Dawson Merritt, type B for Ackland Deer, and type C for Dijon Lee. And I'm the one who cooks up all these graphics. So in the back, like during my downtime, if I have any, I'm working on all this stuff, and I'm trying to make sure that it is aesthetically eye-pleasing for you guys. And I appreciate you guys being here. Steven, what's going on? I see you inside the comment box. Benji, what's going on? So you guys go ahead and say, so far, it looks like it's a heavy lean to see Dijon Lee. And I think if I had an editor or producer, then I could put a poll for you guys. And I'll work on that next. But you like that graphic, right? I like it too. And it keeps it interactive with the Undefeated family. So if you guys want to be a member of the Undefeated for only $2.99, you can support the product right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I'm going to take some coffee, and then we'll continue to talk about these prospects right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys, and good morning. Man, the coffee's hot. I needed the hot coffee. All right. I need it. It's just it goes well. It makes my soul happy. And I'm feeling good. I talked about kind of gratitude this morning at my workout. And if you guys know me, you guys know that I wake up super early and I get the workout in. And a lot of it is because I do have goals for gains, but a lot of it is kind of it's more than that. It's about the brotherhood and the camaraderie. And, you know, I don't play like a lot of team sports anymore. So I think I kind of vibe off playing team sports. If you've ever played a team sport, you know kind of the energy and the passion that you have from playing a team sport, whether it's basketball, football, if you're running track, whatever it is, right? It's a team sport. Now that I'm getting older, I play golf. Well, golf is an individual sport, which is dope because you get out there and you get to meditate, but you kind of lose that team mentality. All right, so I'm asking you guys, and we'll cruise through it, but happy hump day to you. What's up, Patriot Life, my homeboy, my main man? I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Larry, what's up? I see you inside the comment box. Brent is saying C. Okay. I appreciate you guys. You know, so kind of how this is working, we're like Dawson Merritt could commit at any point in time. Like I have the graphics ready for him to commit. And this is how it works. Like if you know who is going to commit, you have everything ready. And, so when the news drops, you can be organized. Well, so kind of waiting on Dawson Merritt. You saw him with the jacket yesterday that said Roll Tide, or what was that, the night before, whatever. And Nebraska fans are upset, but I'm just waiting on Dawson Merritt. Ackland Deer, what I'm waiting for here is for him to flip. Because he is still committed to Ole Miss as far as I've seen. I mean, usually like Hayes Fawcett or Steve Whitfong, those type of guys will break that type of news. So just waiting on that. Henry in with the super chat. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. And Chris, I haven't seen anything to think that Dawson Merritt is reconsidering Alabama, but it's just, I think sometimes we get into that mindset when the guys haven't made their decision, because we are like, hey, make a decision. We want to be able to celebrate with you, celebrate you being a part of this class of 2025. So I'm not sure, but like Todd is saying, and Todd is as dialed in as it gets. I mean, if you've been following Todd, Todd is like my guy sometimes who I go to for double checks. And Patriot Life in with 5 fan funderships. I appreciate it. You guys being here. Angel, Kyle, Seth, Jay, and the Champ have all been gifted fan funderships right here on Bama Football on YouTube because of Patriot Life. So go ahead and tell Patriot Life thank you inside the comment box for helping us bring and build this great community right here. You know, I don't have a salary. Like I'm not part of like these big companies. So anytime you guys can, become fan funder support, I appreciate you guys. But I'm kind of waiting for a flip announcement with Ackland Deer. Now, the thing about it, if you've been watching it and you've been listening to your other YouTube channels or you've been reading your recruiting sites, is the fact that Ackland Deer deleted all of his information from Instagram of him being committed to Ole Miss. And then on top of that, compounded onto that, is the fact that Ole Miss had 3 guys who decommitted this week from Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, right? So that's kind of why we're watching for the Ackland Deer flip, which could come at any point in time. And sometimes, you like, because me in the content creator world covering, especially recruiting, you don't know when things are going to happen. So I have to have my phone charged. I have to be able to deliver the content. So I don't know. And I don't know what's going on with Ole Miss. Sometimes I get so sucked in kind of the Alabama ecosystem that I don't read other sites, other news. So I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's just kind of, these are high school age kids that are changing their mind, or it's because of the momentum that they want to see at Alabama. Or it could be Courtney Morgan for Alabama. I mean, my goodness, can you imagine meeting with him, the general manager, and seeing the job that he's doing? So maybe that has a lot to do with it. All right, let's talk about option C here. So if I had to type in here, I'm going to say, I don't know. I would probably type C because that seems like the most, the easy answer. And I'm asking everybody who's next to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide: Dawson Merritt, Ackland Deer, or Dijon Lee. I would probably type in C just because it seems like the writing is on the wall. Like all the big names in the industry have predicted him to commit to Alabama. He is announcing this coming Friday. I didn't put Josiah Sharma on the board because I don't know. Kind of like, it seems like people were going between Alabama, Texas, and Oregon. Otherwise, I would have posted him on the board, but he is announcing on Friday. And as news happens, we will talk about it right here on Bama Football. So the prospects that we're watching: Dawson Merritt, who's a 4-star outside linebacker out of Kansas; Ackland Deer, who's a running back out of Mississippi. Mississippi has absolutely fire prospects this year. And then you have Dijon Lee out of California. And as you know, it's the cold summer. what I like about Ackland-Deer and what makes me excited about him is the fact that he has kind of what you want with the running backs that fit this system, right? Speed, power, acceleration. And you're going to hear me mention this a lot, but I just want to reiterate it because I think it's important. This is not just a pass-only offense. The running backs are going to be greatly utilized within this system. Ackland-Deer out of Mississippi, I think, presents a lot of the intangibles that you need for a running back in terms of his speed, his ability to see the field with great field vision, and I think he is honestly a game breaker. And I think I've listed him as a 5-star, maybe jumped the gun on that, but he is currently a 4-star on all of the sites. So if I listed him as a 5-star beforehand, I apologize about that. But I think when all is said and done, I believe he's the number 2 running back in on 3, and I think he's number 1 by 24/7, which would mean that there's not a 5-star running back yet within the class of 2025. He also played quarterback for his team, and he threw 3 touchdowns. So, if I'm a high school football coach, I'm putting him at quarterback from time to time, and I might be running some Wildcat just because of the acceleration, and you want the football in the best hands of your player. So as you can look at this, look at that. Do you see that one hit that he had on the safety and he gets upfield? The guy is fast, right? So a lot of great intangibles about a player like Ackland-Deer. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Give me 1 second. So he is, kind of on flip watch, like we like to say in the industry. Is it flip season? Yeah, absolutely. Man, this guy's really, really talented. And see right here, he's a 2-strider. That means he puts 2 feet within each hash, right? That's how you can tell somebody is absolutely fast. And see, Todd is even saying, getting my back. Thank you, Todd. He's going to be a 5-star eventually. So 4-star right now, but when the rankings are redone and as the recruiting analysts do their rankings, and I don't think this has anything to do with like a Bama bump or anything like that, or an Ole Miss bump, because Ole Miss is going to be damn good too. Really, I'm serious. They're going to be excellent. They only lost 2 games last year. I think they'll probably be even better this year. But I think on his own merit, he is definitely going to be a 5-star. Chris from New Jersey, I see you inside the comment box. Josh, what's going on? I appreciate you, John Glass. Thank you so much for being here right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So Ackland-Deer is the player that we are talking about right now, kind of on flip watch. He is still committed to Ole Miss. So, even though he has, deleted stuff on social media, I mean, he is still committed at this point in time. One prospect that I don't want to forget about is Josiah Sharma, who is announcing this Friday. I think he's announcing sometime at lunchtime. I'm on Central Time, so that means lunchtime for me. But he's a prospect that is also out of California, out of Sacramento, and he's ultra talented. This is another guy that could probably hover around the 5-star. What's going on? Raise the bar. I see you inside the comment box. That could probably be hovering around the 5-star mark. Now, he was committed to Washington, but he's made several trips to Tuscaloosa to meet with the staff. And look, Coach Freddie Roach has been doing a really great job recruiting. You've seen him out and about. London Simmons was a really good addition for Alabama, and I know Alabama just hosted Justice Terry, but Josiah Sharma is ultra talented, so I don't know if he's going. I think Texas probably feels good at this point. I don't. Maybe Alabama's on the outside going in. I don't know. I haven't really seen too many predictions in terms of Josiah Sharma, but he is announcing on Friday, and I think Alabama is in play. Dijon Lee will announce on Friday, and he is a heavy lean to the Alabama Crimson Tide. As you can see, is 6'4", right around 200 pounds out of Mission Viejo. Ultra rich in terms of the talent that is within that area, right? He is a 5-star. He is, the number 1 player in the state of California. You're keeping California, you're making it a pipeline. If he does commit on Friday, then that would be the 5th commitment from the state of California for Coach Kalen DeBoer. That's a number that I keep on bringing up because it is important when you're talking about guys and looking at kind of pipelines, right? So like Jarvis is saying, Dijon Lee will be our first 5-star in the class. And I think that's interesting to look at because when you look to who is going to be the first 5-star, theoretically, you could say that it already is Keon Keeley because I think Keon Keeley is going to be a 5-star, and he earned that by winning the Elite 11 MVP. And DC 1111, did he decommit from USC? You're talking about Dijon Lee. Being from out in California, it's been interesting. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is one of my favorite hats. Sometimes I'll bust this out from time to time. I have an assortment of hats, but I'm a patriotic person. And it's not even like a political thing. Like, I just have great respect for the men and women that have served this great country, and I understand the freedoms that we have. Like, I fly an American flag outside of my house, not for any political reason. I just like the country. I love to live here. I love the fact that I can just be a content creator and do this for a living. So that's why I always rock the American flag. And I have, a brother-in-law that has served in the military for, 18 years, and, a lot of you that have served this great country. And I appreciate it, and I understand that there's a lot of people that we have that are watching the show that are overseas. And it makes them, feel close to home because they get to, get their news on Alabama football. So that's, there's a lot to it, but I'm just a patriotic person in general. And I'm excited about the 4th of July, and I love fireworks. So I hope freedom isn't free. And, I think a lot of people sometimes, and also, what isn't free? To watch a show is free, but it's not free to produce. So please, continue to support. I appreciate it. Kevin, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. So early on in the show, I was asking you type A, B, or C for the prospect that you think is going to commit next to the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I think, and T is still around. She is finishing up her master's degree, and there was kind of this conception that that I was dating Taylor, who's like, she's finishing up her master's. When people were like, he's dating a 24-year-old. No. Taylor is 35 years old. She is finishing up her master's degree. And so right now she's taking 12 credit hours within the summer months. So she's slated to graduate in digital strategy from the University of Alabama with her master's degree at the end of July. So that's where she's at. Okay. I put together another graphic. And before we go to that, let's look at the recruiting rankings right now before we look at the running back room. Okay. So the recruiting rankings are right here on the board. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, I think you can. But Ohio State, and I just went to On3. That's the site that I use. I'm not paid by them. I have friends there. I have friends at Rivals. That's where I used to work. 24/7, I think, does a really great job as well. And as Matthew was saying, could we hit the thumbs up? I'd appreciate it. So you have Ohio State, who currently has 3 5-stars. So I just went over there this morning and snapshotted it. And they have, 19 total commitments. Then you have Georgia, who is next in line, recently added another 5-star commitment. Then you have LSU, and I know LSU's lost. I think they lost a 4-star recently, and now you have Alabama. So depending on what recruiting site you use, and all of them, I have respect for all those sites. I think Alabama might be higher on Rivals and 24/7. Maybe Todd or someone or Jarvis could help me out in terms of where Rivals is on those sites. Maybe I can do like a comparison ranking. I don't necessarily think that matters. What I wanted to kind of highlight from this is the fact that Alabama has 13 4-stars. And this is shaping up to be one hell of a class. I honestly think so. And you start to add on number 2 on 24/7. Dang, that's crazy. That's amazing. Rivals has Bama at 3. Okay, so the lowest on 24/7. What's going on, Tommy Tidwell? I appreciate you. Okay, so number 2. So kind of a consensus of like number 2, depending. Is there a site that does a consensus team ranking? That would be cool. Okay, so number 2. It's early. It's not even July. The teams are going to have their opportunities on the back end of July to have like a cookout or barbecues. And it's going to be very challenging for these guys. Look, and I think there's going to be decommitments. I think there's going to be commitments. And I think this year of college football is going to showcase these players. Look, you're going to get hit in the mouth, but you're going to get playing time. It's going to be a wild, wild college football season. I don't think there's anybody that is going to run the table and win 16 games in a row this year. So be patient. But what I want to highlight from this is that Alabama, while they're climbing the rankings, I don't even think they were a top 25 team within the recruiting rankings in the month of February or the month of March, right? So to kind of see how this team has worked their recruiting rankings and what they've done in the month of June, specifically with 8 commitments, man, they've been absolutely killing it. Keelan Russell started a lot of that momentum. You get some offensive linemen and maybe another, players on board, this Friday, which, would be the first one would be Dijon Lee. Thanks for the update, Recky Smith. What's going on, Bino, I see you inside the comment box. That's a lot of 4 stars for real. And I think some of those 4 stars probably turn into 5 stars, like a Keelan Russell, for example. I asked yesterday in the community tab, and I appreciate it. 135 people online right now. I appreciate it. If you could hit the thumbs up, that would mean a lot to me. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. So I put together a question in a poll format, and I asked everybody, now that we've had 24 hours to kind of think about this question, I asked everyone inside the comment box. I'm going to bring up the results, not on screen, but on my phone. But if you go to the community tab, I asked everybody, are you impressed with Alabama's recruiting efforts by Coach Kalen DeBoer? And the results say 50 out of almost 2,000 votes on the community tab, 57% say that they are surprised with the success of Alabama football right now. To be honest, I am really surprised. I didn't think that Alabama would fall off, but I think there would be a drop-off in kind of, the momentum just for a little bit until Alabama starts winning games, improving it on the field, blah, blah. So I'm in that 57% that I am really surprised. I knew that Alabama would be there, top 10, top 5, 100%, like the brand itself, maybe even not top 5. Because, look, when you come in and you're a parent or, you're in the corner of these prospects, like, what have you done, Coach Kalen DeBoer? I love that what you did at Washington. How he's been able to combat that is, look, his track record. I just went to the national championship, right? I just sent 10 guys into the NFL. He's a genuine person. I think a lot of people have emotional intelligence, so you can understand that he is a real person. It doesn't even seem like he has any type of ego, to be honest, when you talk to Coach Kalen DeBoer. He's just like a nice person. He's a man, right? And then on top of that, the way that they've been utilizing this general manager position with Courtney Morgan, there was some people that are in the know that really understand recruiting. And as soon as they brought Courtney Morgan over, people were going crazy. Now I understand why. I don't know whose idea it was to use Ryan Williams as a chess piece, but him being kind of your flagship recruiter, that's been major. On top of that, you saw Jamarcus Shepard when he was recruiting Travis Smith. Can you imagine that type of energy connecting with all the other players and all the other parents? You talk about Kane Womack, a younger guy, and the type of energy that he has, and a Mo Lindquist. Like, these guys are playing chess. This is a well-designed staff. He didn't bring over one coach from Washington from the defensive side of the ball. He manufactured a defensive coaching staff because he knew that over here in the SEC, look, people want to see points now in grass basketball, but he also understands the point that defense still wins games. So unproven, but in terms of the coaching staff, they've done a really, really good job. And I would imagine, you know what? Who knows? At the end of the day, this team might finish number 1 in the recruiting rankings. That would be shocking. And that's something that could probably happen if you start to pair kind of all the 5 stars that can jump on board for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Okay, so we were talking about at the beginning of the show, which player do you think is going to commit next? Dawson Merritt, Acklandier, Dijon Lee. And I asked you to type A, B, or C inside the comment box. The running back position makes me really, really excited, okay? Because Acklandier's absolute monster, but you also have another running back who is already committed in Turbo Rogers. So I started to think about, and I started kind of diving into Alabama's running back room. And then I was like, you know what? I should put together a graphic that kind of showcases who Alabama has in terms of the running back room right now. So here's that graphic. I love putting the graphics together, and I'm still working on everything to make it aesthetically eye-pleasing. So, all the feedback, I appreciate it, but kind of on my downtime, I like to put the graphics together so you guys have something to look at. This is Alabama's running back room, okay? This is ultra talented backfield, okay? And on the bottom left, you see that Turbo Rogers is already committed from the class of 2025. And if Acklandier is to flip, I will put his graphic in there as well. So let's kind of start at the left. And you have Jam Miller, who's just a junior. and you have Justice Haynes, who's a sophomore, and then you have some younger guys who are monsters, right? Richard Young, it's hard to believe he's only a redshirt freshman. Daniel Hill, freshman. Kevin Riley out at Tuscaloosa County High School. He is a freshman. What's interesting about this graphic is look at the 2023 stat line, okay? There's not a lot of experience here, even though sometimes, like us in the Alabama system, we know, I know, Matthew, right? The running back room is loaded. I think we understand that the running back, okay, Jarvis, thank you so much. I'll work on the pronunciation of deer on the off time. So when I get back, I'll work on that. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think we know about Jam Miller and his capabilities and what he's able to do. Shoot, the first run that he had, which come AK. Oh, I like that. And we know what Jam Miller is capable of. But what is interesting is like the number of yards last year. Like, for example, like Justice Haynes, he only had 25 carries for 168 yards. Jam Miller, 41 carries for only 200 yards. And Richard Young, 9 carries for 24 yards. So, Caitlin, what's up? See you inside the comment box. Good morning to you. I appreciate you being here. So, the running back room is ultra talented. These guys just don't have a lot of carries just yet. And I was even looking, and I have a graphic that I'll talk about another time where it showcases the quarterbacks. And man, look, Jalen Milroe is 12-2 as a quarterback. But did you know this? This was really interesting to me. That Ty Simpson has, he has not thrown a touchdown pass yet at Alabama. So he has limited reps. And then you have Dylan Lonergan, and I have his stats as well. He was only 2 for 2 last year. And then after that, you have Austin Mack, who hasn't played. So, outside of Jalen Milroe, the quarterbacks are there, and we're not going to talk about quarterbacks in this particular show. But, outside of Jalen Milroe, it is a very inexperienced. Now, they're talented, but it's an inexperienced group at quarterback. One more time, I'll pull up the running back depth chart so you can have one more look at it. All right. Yeah, I did see Jarvis brings up a good point. I'll hit on the sub hit real quick on that. The top 25 toughest places to play by EA Sports, right? They put this out ahead of the video game, and I think that Texas A&M was ranked number 1. I can't think of the list off the top of my head, but I definitely think that Texas A&M is an absolute very challenging place to play. And I think last year when Alabama went to Texas A&M and was able to win that game on the road, that was the second time that Jalen Milroe was able to beat Texas A&M. It's a daunting stadium, Kyle Field. It's electric. It's probably the nicest in the SEC. Bryant Denny is certainly up there. I think the stadiums that I found to be ultra challenging, at least from, a media perspective watching the game, Baton Rouge, they don't play. Like, that stadium is so loud. And you know what? I think like Boise State was up in like the top 20. Mississippi State is very challenging to play at. I would imagine it's not a very big stadium, but it is ultra loud. And then you compound on it with those, those cowbells or whatever they have. Georgia's up there as well. I would imagine, Oregon is a super challenging place. I've been to Oregon, not for a game, for a football camp, and their stadium is like, it's vertical, kind of goes up like LSU Stadium, but LSU Stadium is so big, and it literally goes like straight up and down. So that'll be a challenging place. I think Neyland Stadium will be challenging as well for Alabama to go. And look where Alabama goes. I didn't see, I don't even have the list, but think about where Alabama goes this season, okay? They go to LSU. They go to, Death Valley. They go to Neyland Stadium, all right? They go to, where else do they go? They go to Oklahoma. Like, those 3 by itself are ultra challenging games to play on the road. Plus, was Wisconsin on there? Wisconsin was number 7? Man, that's crazy. So, and Auburn was 14. Auburn's tough. Auburn was tough against Georgia last year. Like, Kirby Smart, before Brock Bowers took over that game, that was challenging. So Alabama goes to Oklahoma, they go to Tennessee, they go to LSU, and they go to Wisconsin this coming season. That's why I'm saying, like, the season for all of these teams is going to be ultra challenging. That's why I don't think there's going to be a team that runs 16 in a row. The Swamp would be a really good one. I have never been to the Swamp, but I heard that the Swamp is absolutely loud. Yeah, and you're right, Joe Croons, they play Jump Around at Wisconsin. So those are the topics that I wanted to hit on this morning, was basically who would be next to commit to Alabama. So Dawson Merritt, he's on watch. Acklandier, or AK, right? We'll just call him AK. He's also kind of on flip watch, and Dijon Lee, who will be announcing on Friday. We hit on the recruiting rankings as well. I think that would have been a good topic to add on, was like the toughest stadiums. So we'll talk about that probably another time. And we also hit on the running back room here at Alabama. Jam Miller, Justice Haynes, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, and Turbo Rogers. Turbo Rogers, remember him? He was at the IMG Academy and now back playing in Montgomery. And, if you get AK out of Mississippi, that would be your set for your class of 2025 running backs. And I guess, since Jam Miller is only a junior, theoretically, he could come back. You think of the running back that left, who could have came back as well, is Roydell Williams, who is now at Florida State. I really wish the best for Roydell Williams. I think that he's going to do great things for Florida State, but I think, it was time for him, maybe to move on to a different program, because I think Jam and Justice will be that combo that is probably one of the top tandems. And then I don't know how they're going to get the football to Richard Young as well, but you saw the way that he was able to distribute his power during the spring game. So absolutely crushed it. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here for my morning segment. During the season, my shows will be longer, and I'll open up the call-in line as well. And remember that Alabama will now have practice in the morning times, so that'll give us a little bit more to work with. And I'm still waiting to see kind of how the schedules work with the new coaching staff. But, from the press conferences to the practice footage to breaking news updates, we got you covered right here at Bama Football on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys being here and watching the segments. And I kind of position the shows just as long as they're supposed to be. I know you're busy. I'm busy as well. So I kind of want to put as much together as we can within these 30 minutes of my segment. And then as news happens, I got you covered, whether that's a video, whether that's a short, whatever it is. I appreciate you guys. I put a lot into the show, the graphics, the audio. You guys deserve the best. You cover Alabama football, and I want to continue to carry on that standard and continue to grow the channel. Look, the channel is always morphing to different things, and it's went through a lot, but my goal is to continue to just cover Alabama football and have tunnel vision in doing that. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. And enjoy your Wednesday. And I will be back as news happens right here at Bama Football on YouTube. Have a beautiful Wednesday. Be good, people. Push yourselves. And I will catch up with you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Good morning, Lewis. I see you inside the comment box. So I will catch up with you guys as news happens.